Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to the wilds of Suffolk. I'm out here yet again doing what I do, walking along in beautiful locations such as this, giving you my thoughts and opinions on things that are happening in the world and the public consciousness. If it's your first time here, welcome. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing today. For your returning subscriber, 1,326 of you I think there are today, welcome back, welcome one and all. So, for those of you who are just joining me for the first time, and for those seasoned campaigners that are still here listening to this craziness, I haven't been out here doing this for a little while. I had another strike on my account from a video I did 2 years ago, and the YouTube decided to move the goalposts and give me a strike on a video that wasn't yet created, or that was created already. They changed the policy and then banned that video and gave me a strike on my video. So now you have to preempt what YouTube is going to do, thinking ahead 2 years in advance of what they're going to ban, and then make your videos accordingly. So another strike on my account, for a video I did 2 years ago. That shows how desperate they are to maintain a narrative that you can't question. So that leads us on to today's topic of conversation, which is, you can trust me, I'm on the television. So in this video I'll be covering some subjects I've talked about extensively before, and sort of just trying to cast a light onto those things that are being done right now, and to the propaganda and the message and the narrative that they're trying to spin to make people believe something that clearly isn't true. And where we sit in all that, what we can do about it, and where it comes from, how this is all being generated, what it means to you and me. Because there's one thing to notice it, there's another thing, if it doesn't mean anything, what's the point in talking about it, right? So, good morning, how you doing? So, well, let's examine the past 20 years. 20 years, we can go back even further, we probably will. We'll look at the last 20 years and see if that has any correlation to what we're looking at right now, and what it all means. So we find ourselves in a world where people are not believing the mainstream media, and neither should they, because they're lying propagandist asshats that have been caught out lying forever. Now, I mentioned I got a strike on my video from 2 years ago. They're saying it was dangerous conspiracy theories that I was spreading. Okay, now let's go back a few years when Donald Trump was in power. Okay, when he won the election. Okay, whatever you think about Donald Trump is irrelevant. So let's just stick with the topic of conversation today and what the media said about that guy, and let's examine if any of it was true. So we had Russian collusion. You remember Russian collusion? Russian collusion, where Trump was colluding with Russia to win the election. That has now been proven to be complete bullshit. Total, utter, complete bullshit. The Mueller report, they found no Russian collusion, and the documents have come out now that the FBI knew that it was all a political hit job done by Hillary Clinton to sink Donald Trump before the election. She paid for it through, who was her chief financial officer? Oh, that's right, Gary Gensler, who is now heading up the SEC and killing all of crypto in America. That's interesting. Oh, but crypto's all securities. It's all bad. Bullshit. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Crypto's all bad. That's why BlackRock is going to be given the first Bitcoin ETF. Even though I think there was 20 something applications for Bitcoin ETFs from reputable companies before BlackRock, but BlackRock is going to be given the Bitcoin ETF. Now, if you don't know what a Bitcoin ETF does, oh golly, okay. So the Bitcoin futures were approved a while ago. Bitcoin futures basically means you can control the price of Bitcoin downwards. You can bring the price of Bitcoin down using futures, okay? Complex mechanisms, I'm not going to get into it. If you don't understand it, go and read about it. But you can manipulate the price of Bitcoin through futures downwards. ETF, you can manipulate the price upwards. So everybody has wanted to do a Bitcoin ETF for as long as at least the last 5 or 6 years. But it's never been approved by the SEC because it's a financial product that has to be approved by the SEC to make it tradable. Okay? So Bitcoin is going to have its first ETF approved by the largest financial magnate in the world, being BlackRock, ahead of all the others that put their application in first. What does that say to you? And you know, CNBCs of the world are all like, yeah, BlackRock, they're wonderful. It's amazing. I find it astounding that people will celebrate the largest companies in the world making billions of dollars out of their tax money, like Raytheon and all the companies that built these weapons of mass destruction that were never found in Iraq, by the way, even though the television told us that they would. Saddam Hussein, weapons of mass destruction, remember that? Remember? A lie perpetrated by the television and the media, governments, they're all part of it. It's propaganda, right? So weapons of mass destruction. Let's go to Vietnam. What got everyone into Vietnam? The Bay of Tonkin, was it? Complete fabrication, more propaganda, lies. And for what? Oh, to get America into the war, to the Vietnam War. The media perpetrated that? Yes. 9/11. 9/11. Completely just a guy in Afghanistan in a cave, right? Yeah, so we know who it is. Same day they knew who it was. Same day in America, the government, the intelligence agencies, intelligence, how would the intelligence agencies know who was responsible for that, the events that occurred on that day? Super fast investigation. It's not that the CIA was running, funding, training the guy that they said was responsible, right? CIA, they definitely didn't have that guy on the payroll. No. And definitely Mossad and Saudi Arabia weren't involved. 100% they went. No, you can trust us. We're the media. We wouldn't lie. Why would we lie? So, going back to the point, Trump, the Russian collusion things with Trump, complete fabrication. Was there any retraction of the stories? Were the Pulitzer Prize that were awarded to the journalists for reporting on Russian collusion, were they given back? No? I think that's a bit odd, don't you? So that's one thing. 100% safe and effective. Remember that? You remember when the media told us that everyone was going to die from COVID? You remember that? I do. I remember it vividly, all based on a model done by a guy, what was his name? From University College London. Neil Ferguson, worst modeler in history, made up the models that everyone was going to die, suggested lockdowns, and then during lockdowns went and was having an affair with some little bit of fluff that he had on the side, going against the very lockdowns that he insisted on everyone having. The same as our illustrious Prime Minister here, Boris Johnson, and his staff and all, members of the party, don't you know. The point being, the media covered for them. This is the same media that people want to hold up as being the bastions of truth, and obviously the BBC with the new BBC Verify service, where they're actually verifying the information now. It's true, it really is. The BBC, who had Jimmy Savile working for them for 30 years, pedophile, necrophiliac, best friends with Prince Charles, by the way, or King Charles now. Okay, they had Jimmy Savile working for the BBC for 30 years. They also had another guy called Rolf Harris working for 30 years in the BBC. Paedophile. Yeah, they covered for Prince Andrew, who was best friends with who? Jeffrey Epstein. They covered for JP Morgan, who was banking Jeffrey Epstein. In fact, JP Morgan just paid a $220 million fine for banking and funding Jeffrey Epstein. Just to make it all go away. Did the media report on that? No. No. So the media wants to be held up as the bastions of truth. We will do the investigative journalism. Totally we will. Totally we will. We won't hold these massive companies to account. These massive companies like Raytheon who are making weapons of war for a war that we're promoting. Well, they're good companies now. We like war. We like war when we're the ones who are perpetrating it on evil dictatorships over there. Now, anyone who is looking at any type of information can see that the media lies. You know, like I bumped into a neighbour. She's like, 80s. She said to me, "BBC's full of shit." I said, "Yeah, I know." But every aspect of every story is twisted to support a narrative that they want to push, and whatever that narrative is for this week, this month, this year, is all you're going to hear about. What are we hearing about all the time right now? Transformers, more than meets the eye. Back when I was a kid, they were robots. A bit different now, though, isn't it? Oh, but if you say anything, you're a transphobe. Now, I'm against toy robots. But the media is pushing this narrative, that there's a massive racism problem. And yeah, how do you create issues between different groups of people? Well, there's something called a false flag. Have you heard of those? False flag, where you create Bay of Tonkin, where you create an event and you make it look like something happened, like the dam in Ukraine that got blown up. Oh, that was Russia. just like Russia blew up their own gas pipeline that went over to Europe. Mm-hmm. Yep, okay. So we're being fed this complete horseshit. Total bunk, complete horseshit. Like, there's who was I listening to the other day who said, oh yeah, there was a British politician, I can't think who it was, he was a dickhead anyway. They're all dickheads. Any politician, don't care who it is, dickhead, liar, con man, don't care what party, but I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative. Doesn't matter which side of the spectrum you're on. If you believe these people, they're lying scum who only care about themselves and enriching themselves and the people that donate to them. Okay? I heard a great suggestion that politicians should wear jackets like race car drivers with all their sponsorship on them, who's given them money, so you can know who's controlling them, like little puppets on the strings that they are. Politicians don't make the decisions. They're puppets. They are puppets to the corporate media, military war machine. That seeks to control us. Like, if you don't do what we say, we'll bomb you. Yeah, there was a joke that was going around a few years ago, and it was, I think it's relevant to what we're seeing now, and just sort of change some of the wording, and it was, Islam is a religion of peace, and if you don't believe us, we'll blow you up. Like, clearly, there's extremists on every side of the fence, and this is the problem we're seeing, is the extremist voice is the only one that we're hearing. And it's this, it's the same in the LGBTQ plus ABC, the alphabet movement. Funny that they call the the intelligence agencies, the alphabet agencies, because it's FBI, CIA, MI5, you know, alphabet agencies. And then they're using letters of the alphabet for the LGBTQ+ alphabet agency. Now, why do I bring that up, you might ask? When we're talking with the media and, you know, the way that media is behaving about everything, you know, just we all know they're lying, and they know that we know that they're lying, and we know that they know that we know that they know that we know that they're lying. It gets all a bit confusing, but they're gaslighting us. We all know that what they're saying is lies. We all know it. You know, some people want to cling to it because it's like, oh, but what happens if they're found out to be lying to us? What does that mean? Oh, they don't care about me anymore. They never did. They never did. But we find ourselves in a situation where people want to still believe, even though they know they're being lied to. Because what else is there? Where can I get my information? So that's what I hear all the time. Oh yeah, you don't believe the media, Chris. Oh, you don't believe the media. You're an idiot. Like, or yeah, okay, maybe there's some problems with the media, but where am I going to get my information from? Well, you know what? You could look and check against what they're saying. So, you know, when I've been talking about digital currencies, for instance, for 5 years, and I was saying to people, this is what's coming, we're having digital money, and people argue with me, oh, we're not going to digital money, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, here's the banks. Go directly to them to see who they're hiring. Go directly to the Bank of England, go to, you know, whoever you want, to Santander, you know, I don't care who you bank with. Go and look at who they're hiring. Go and look at the information that's on their websites, what they're talking about. Blockchain, they're talking about digital money, they're talking about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, you know. And all this information that I look at, that I read, it's from a broad spectrum of channels, you know. I go to BitChute, I go to Rumble, I go to sort of mainstream stuff, and I look at everything and I try and correlate it to something else to see if there is any truth to it. So while people share articles about, oh yes, well, this is the information about XYZ, whatever it is, XYZ, no, say, try and cross-check it. You know, when I was getting fact-checked all the time on Facebook, and people are like, oh, you're getting fact-checked again. I'm like, okay, read the fact-check and tell me if it's got anything to do with what I just said. Anything at all, or what I just shared. Or why is it that if everything I'm saying is a conspiracy theory and it's crazy, why is there a need to shut me down? Why is there a need to close me up and make sure that I can't talk? If it's just crazy, no one's going to believe that nonsense, are they? Except when the narrative that they're trying to spin through the television has been proven false over and over and over again. And people like myself have been talking about it over and over and over again and saying, this is the truth, what they're telling you is a lie. When they're being exposed as liars, people are coming back to the truth tellers and saying, okay, I see it now, what do I do? So they have to shut people like me down. They have to shut people like you down listening to this craziness. Because if people start to believe things that go against the narrative, then they lose the narrative. And then, then what happens? Now, when I'm talking about the alphabet agencies, when I'm talking about the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, LGBTQ+, the reason I do that is because back in the 60s and 70s, there was hearings in the US where they were asked, has the CIA got agents working within the media? It was called Operation Mockingbird. Almost lost it there for a moment. Operation Mockingbird. And it's not just the CIA in the US, it's also everywhere else in the world where you have intelligence agents who are working within the media to spin the narrative or create propaganda for the people that the media is telling their lies to. You know, I've talked about it in another video I did called Zeitgeist, where I spoke about that the media, movies, songs of an era reflect the times that they're recorded or created in. So that's it's a barometer of the feeling of and the mood of the time is the media, social media, the conspiracy theories, the movies, the songs, all the whole social aspect of what's being created. Now, if you can manipulate that social aspect through those agencies, through Hollywood we know is controlled by whom? The big money, because it's the big money decides what movie gets made. So if the big money is going to make movies where the Little Mermaid is now black, I remember an uproar for many years about Mexican people playing Mexican characters, or people that were roles that were written for black people. If a white person played that role, black people kicked off. Understandably, if the role's written for a white person, why would you have a black person playing it, or vice versa? If you want to take that a step further, how can you have a gay person playing a straight character? Well, that's going to ruin Hollywood, isn't it? But point being that we're living in this world that is manipulated from every aspect of what we're looking at it from. Every aspect is manipulated through media, teLIEvision. It's all there to feed you a narrative and keep you thinking one thing when the obvious is the complete opposite. And it has you questioning your own thoughts and your own version of reality that says, hang on a minute, that's not what I witnessed, that's not how I saw it. How are they coming up with that story? They're making you question yourself. Don't believe your lying eyes, believe us. We'll tell you the truth, except they don't. And they keep lying to you until those lies get caught out over and over and over again, and people stop believing them. But then where do you go to find your information, right? Oh, hang on a minute. We're deep in the forest now. I can't do my David Attenborough. Oh, but David Attenborough's wonderful. He works at the BBC too. Climate change. It's real. Really is. I spoke about that before as well. But what I wanted to get out of this is that we're getting to a point now where we have exposure of not only the media in general, but personalities within the media and what they've been doing and what they're capable of and how the media covers for them. Now, here recently in the UK, there's a television presenter called Philip Schofield. Now, I remember a few years ago when the story broke that he was grooming a young boy. Now, when that story broke, he came out as gay. He said, I have to tell the truth, I'm coming out as gay, I've been gay, and blah, 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 blah. And everyone's like, wow, Philip, you're wonderful. Clap, clap, clap. You're wonderful, how strong, how brave of you to come out as gay. Within the television industry, that's so brave. If you've ever been in television or worked in television, you'll know why that's not brave. Which is why I mentioned, should we have gay people playing straight characters? Anyway, off subject, he came out as gay. Everyone congratulated him. Oh, what a hero. What a nice man coming out as gay. It was as I've said before, using a shield, the LGB, lesbian, gay, bi. And then they added the TQRSTAVC plus. What's the plus? Remember what the plus is for? Paedophilia and bestiality, the plus. And he came out as gay to use the shield, so he's ducking down behind the shield of, oh, I'm gay, so that no one would go, oh, but you're a pedo and you're a groomer. So this is yet another person who's on the television who's being held up as the bastion of truth, coming out and lying to the public and saying he's gay when he's not gay, he's a grooming paedophile. He's on television too. Oh, that's on ITV, so that's a different channel, so that's okay, he's still working on television. because the media wants to cover for him, ITV and the people he work with, Holly Willoughby. Oh, I had no idea. Fuck off. Fuck off, you had no idea. He's a groomer and a paedophile, and you knew it. You all knew it. So, more and more of these personalities, like Anderson Pooper Scooper on CNN. Ooh, yes. Who is he, really? What's his surname? Vanderbilt. Oh, but it's just a screen name I use because it's, you know, that's what we do in television and movies. So, and Anderson Vanderbilt, CIA. I mean, most of the personalities you see on TV are there, then they're compromised. We've spoken about this endlessly as well, about the people who are involved in these massive organisations who are there to spin a narrative and create propaganda. Now, before Obama was in power in the US, there was an act that said propaganda couldn't be used on the American people. And then the Smith-Mundt Act, I think it was called, Smith-Mundt, was repealed. Smith-Mundt, I think. Don't quote me, I'm pretty sure that's right. And that allowed propaganda to be used on the American people. So, and that's, you know, it's not just in America. Trust me, it's everywhere. Wherever you are in the world, you're being propagandized with absolute falsehoods and misinformation to make you believe something that plainly isn't true. 100% safe and effective. Or you just need another booster to make sure. Or another one. And then when everyone starts dying, it's like, oh, it's definitely not it's not that thing. No, it's definitely not. Why is everyone having heart attacks? Why is 12-year-old kids having heart attacks? That's not important. Don't look there. Look over there. There's an alien. Squirrel. Now, as I've said for a couple of 2 or 3 years, I've been doing these videos now. As I've said for the whole time, what we need to watch and to look for is a change in narrative as things start to come out. Now, the other day, documentation and evidence was brought forward that Joe Biden and his family accepted bribes from Ukraine and China to the tune of like $10-15 million while he was vice president of the US. They also found multiple records in multiple locations for Joe Biden, Pence, people in politics, and obviously Trump. Trump was president and could declassify and did declassify all the information that he had to his hand. I could show you records of it. Pence, Biden didn't have that because they were never president. But yet they could have the boxes. Now, Trump is being charged criminally. Oh, and let's not forget Hillary Clinton, who had a server in her bathroom that was being accessed by multiple countries. But Trump is being charged for that crime that apparently everyone committed. So the day that the evidence came out about Joe Biden accepting bribes from China and Ukraine was the same day that the indictment was dropped on Trump. So, like I say, whatever you think of Trump is irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. But, in America you can see the two-tier justice system. So, here in the UK you can see the two-tier justice system. If you opened your business during lockdowns, you went to prison. Because that was against the rules. You partied at the Prime Minister's residence, or partied with the Prime Minister, or any other of the many parties that went on during that period in politics, nothing happened to you. In fact, Boris Johnson's talking about making a comeback to first-line politics. And the media shouting it from the rooftops, yay, Boris! Because we all love a story of a turnaround, oh, good, bad boy come good, So what we're going to notice over the course of the next 6 months to 12 months is the media narrative constantly being changed to keep people locked into this paradigm of believing nonsense. Total nonsense. We're going to be wandering around. No one's going to know what's true. They're going to be saying this is bullshit. And then when all else fails, what are they going to turn to? Alien invasion. Oh, Chris, you're crazy. There's no aliens. Watch. Watch and see what happens. It's going to be the one thing. Now, how it's going to come down, I have no idea. Whether it's going to be a revelation of extraterrestrial, extra is more terrestrial, land, extraterrestrial, more land. Maybe it's going to be a revelation that we have beings in this reality that we experience that are not from this reality that we experience, that we're aware of. Maybe they're from somewhere else. Maybe another landmass. Maybe not another planet, but maybe another landmass on this planet that we don't know about. Maybe we're not even living on a planet. Who knows? Who knows? But we're going to see this narrative shift as the narrative goes against, as people go against the narrative and start to wake up from this programming, this propaganda and nonsense we've been listening to for all our entire lives. They're going to shift the narrative again, and that's going to be in the direction of aliens, alien invasion, alien exposure, whatever it is, as a distraction. Look over there. Squirrel. Watch and see. But know that you're being lied to, you're being propagandized. And if you want to look at things on the television and quote them, then go and check the source. If you can't find a source, then it's probably bullshit. Same with me. I'm like the talking dog that's being sold in a garage sale. You got to decide whether you want to believe the dog. I don't expect you to believe a word I say. I think you should examine everything I say and discard most of it. Whatever works with you, whatever resonates with you, keep. Whatever doesn't. But go and check for yourself. That's what I'm saying. Don't believe me. Don't believe anybody else. Go and check for yourself. And if you can't correlate that information with something else, then it's probably bullshit. And on that note, I will bid you farewell. But what I will say is we're living in a wonderful world. This reality it is wonderful, and it can be even more wonderful if we choose to cut out the nonsense and the bullshit and stand together against lies, propaganda and complete horseshit that doesn't benefit us whatsoever. Like carbon is a pollutant. Bullshit! So, go out into the world. Do good. Be good. And you can change the world with the way that you think, the way that you talk, the way that you interact with people, and what you share with them. So if you think this is worthwhile, share it. If you don't care. I'm not doing this for profit. I'm not doing it for anything other than sharing information. You get to decide what you do with it. So, look after yourself. Look after each other, and I look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care. Ciao for now.